still and be still. Hello and welcome back. It's been so long since I posted a video in here, and I want to talk about why I was gone, or rather what happened during that time. This is a little experiment because I want to try out how it feels to make videos again, and I'll see if I'm gonna continue or if I'll find the time and energy to do that more regularly. I tried a few times over the past 2 years, but it was very challenging, and I just found so many things, learned so many lessons that I'd like to share with you. It was a huge time of self-discovery, and I'm excited to talk about that. Let's start from the beginning. So those of you who follow me on my artist Instagram might remember that in March 2021 I was already feeling very burnt out, but I continued my studies. I studied communication design until 5 months later in August I kind of collapsed, and I was just very overwhelmed with everything. I lost a lot of my friends, and then I decided to pause my studies. I also deactivated all of my Instagram accounts and took down my videos because I had this desire to disappear, and also I felt so much shame about how I presented myself online, and just in general about the things that I posted. I just wanted to isolate myself from everything. I also quit therapy because it was just making things worse, and my therapist was just pressuring me a lot. But I set myself on a waiting list for a psychiatric day clinic. I thought I'd have to wait like 3 months or so, but it was 8 months. And it was a long time, but I'm also very grateful because I just had a very good time taking care of myself and basically therapizing myself. But at first, I just distracted myself a lot. I played Sims or watched Netflix all day, trying to process everything that happened and just stabilizing and recovering from the burnout until I was done being miserable and I wanted to make a change. So I started doing yoga. I also started doing audio diary, like audio journaling, more regularly. I first did that right before I quit therapy. And I'm gonna make a separate video about all my practices, but this is kind of my main tool to take care of myself. And what I do is I just make a memo to myself, and then mostly the day after or sometime after I take notes on what I said and reflect my thoughts. It's very helpful. Like journaling in general can be very helpful, especially if you're overwhelmed in life, and audio journaling is just what works best for me. I also try to just be more mindful and slow down. I put more effort into making food. I just wanted to feel good and healthy. And then with the new year, with 2022 beginning, I set some routines and rituals. I did audio journaling every day, and then decided to summarize my notes every full and new moon. And I also set some goals for the upcoming cycle and checked my resolutions. And I also set a cleaning schedule after the moon cycle because I just really like the moon. Another thing that I wanted to try out was this 66-day rewiring challenge, where you say or write down a positive affirmation for 66 days. And I'm subscribed to this newsletter by Omens. They have an astrological blog, and it's called Note to Self, but it's basically a positive affirmation. So I used to write this down, and at some point I started saying it out loud before my yoga practice, and I'm still doing that almost every day because it's such a powerful tool. I also have this little affirmation card deck that my mom gifted me for Christmas, which I use on new moons as well. And yeah, just in general, I dived into spirituality, consuming more spiritual music, content like videos. I'm gonna make a video about spirituality and my spiritual journey as well if I find the time, so I'm gonna talk more about this soon, hopefully. And yeah, I just had the best time of my life. I feel like that was the first time ever that I was genuinely happy, and it's so amazing to me because I know that I achieved that by myself, just by taking care of myself and my needs. Of course, I wasn't fully healed, and there were still things that I struggled with, especially the loneliness, because I lost so many friends, and my internet friends were very busy or unreliable, and sometimes I'd have to wait months for a reply. And another thing that I was struggling with at the time was feeling exhausted, drained. I didn't really understand why, because I was feeling so good mentally. And then I thought maybe I'm still recovering from the burnout, or am I overworking myself, or am I still depressed? But I wasn't really depressed anymore at that time. And then my mom saw this documentary about this rare disease called ehlers-danlos syndrome. It's a genetic connective tissue disorder, and I do in fact have that, but I didn't take it that seriously back then. And then the clinic called, and they always do some kind of basic medical examination at the beginning, and I asked them if they could check if I have this, but they refused. So I just had to wait a bit longer to get my diagnosis. Maybe I'm gonna also do a video about this, but I'll see, because I feel like I'm just complaining so much, and some days it's just all I talk about, but yeah, it's a huge part of my life. And then about the day clinic, it was a really hard time for me because I just had set all of these routines, all of this structure for myself that I now had to let go of because the clinic was giving me their own schedule, and I cannot really deal with change, or I need a long time to adjust. It was also eclipse season and Mercury retrograde during that time, and I think I also had PMS, so it was horrible. I felt like I was transforming back into my old self that I had just let go of, and I had so many setbacks in the beginning. And about this whole routine thing, I think this might hint that I am autistic. I don't know that for sure yet. I'm gonna talk about this later, but yeah, they just diagnosed me with anancastic personality disorder, which is basically a compulsive personality disorder, which kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I think this might rather be some kind of neurodivergence, also because EDS is often connected to neurodivergence. A good thing about the day clinic was that I noticed I was less socially anxious. I felt more confident. I was able to hold space for people and just felt more like I could be myself in the outside world, not just at home. And this showed me how much my affirmation work worked. Yeah, it wasn't really the right treatment. I did some kind of depression group therapy because the therapist from the hospital that I went to in September suggested that, and I was just completely overwhelmed, so I just did what she said. But yeah, I wasn't depressed anymore, but I still grew a lot from the experience, and I also met some nice people there. And then after I was released from the hospital, it was again very challenging because I had to make a decision if I want to return to uni or if I want to do something else. And I thought about maybe being a yoga teacher, but I'm actually not even allowed to do yoga anymore because of my EDS. I still do it very carefully and I try not to overstretch, but I could definitely not do this as a profession, also because I just don't have the physical energy for that. Yeah, so I was just very lost and felt a lot under pressure because I didn't really know what I wanted, and it was an intense time. I was also scared to return to uni because I didn't really feel like a designer or artist anymore, and being creative was so strongly connected to stress and burnout. Yeah, I was freaking out. It was intense. I had life-ending thoughts and like meltdowns until I decided to return to uni. And I thought that I had to restart the third semester because I didn't finish the third semester. I paused right before it ended. And then my mom talked to the secretary and she said that I can start in the fourth, but I still have to do the midterm exam from the third, which I had nothing finished for. And I knew about this like 1 week, I guess, before uni started. So I pulled myself together, got into workaholic mode, and finished as much as I could. That was crazy. I don't know how I did that. And then uni started and I was just surviving, functioning. It was a huge roller coaster ride, very intense. My EDS symptoms got worse. I was feeling exhausted so often and sometimes even fainting, almost fainting in class. My joint pain got worse, especially in the knees, so sometimes I had to take a crutch to school, and some days I just could only lay in bed because it was just too painful. I have a lot of meltdowns. I always pull myself together somehow. I also recover faster from meltdowns, which shows me that my practices are really working and supporting me. But yeah, I'm constantly overwhelmed, especially when I'm not at home. It's getting more difficult to leave the house. Yeah, I have less time and energy for self-care, and I often feel burned out because I also care so much about grades and I'm a huge perfectionist, so it's this constant fight of mind versus body. And then in November I had the suspicion that I might be autistic, and I've been trying to get it diagnosed since then, but my appointment is getting cancelled. I had one appointment, but it was an ADHD appointment because there was a mix-up, and I would have had a second one last week, but it got cancelled again. Yeah, but I'm not giving up. I hope to get my diagnosis soon, or then find out that I'm not autistic or have ADHD. Ever since I have this suspicion, I can understand myself so much more and have more compassion for myself and my past selves. And yeah, that's why I really hope to get more clarity on that. I also got my EDS diagnosis in February, like a few weeks ago. I went to Cologne with my mom and my sister because it's such a rare disease, so yeah, I had to drive to another city to get it diagnosed, but it was a big relief. And now I just ended the fourth semester. I didn't think that I would be able to, and it was surprisingly easy and calm towards the end. I don't feel that burned out, not as burned out as I thought I would be, which I'm very grateful for. So to conclude this video, this time, or especially the isolation, helped me to take care of myself and to learn that I can take control over my life. And yeah, that's such a valuable realization. I figured out who I am without exterior influences. I'm highly sensitive, so I'm always, like, everything impacts me very intensely. I feel like my personality fits my EDS because, yeah, everything is kind of loose and just very influenceable. And it was good to, yeah, to kind of keep that away for a time to see who I am without that. And I want to talk about everything, all of my practices and rituals, hopefully soon. And this is just kind of the background information, how this all happened. And yeah, I hope this could already inspire some of you a bit. Why do I want to make videos again? I just had this impulse for so long, and I really want to share all of these positive things and hopefully leave a positive impact and yeah, help people with my knowledge. And another big reason is, in real life I'm very introverted, so I often feel like I do not take or not get the space that I want, so I often feel unseen and unheard, and it's so much easier to take up space online. And I am introverted, but I really like to share things. I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about, and I have this desire to share something with the world, and it just is easier for me to make this through a video than with people in real life. I hope to get there soon one day. And also, the last card that I pulled on the new moon was this one from my Dreamy Moon's Cosmic Guidance deck. It says, "Speak up, use your voice to express yourself." And I thought that was the universe telling me that it is time to make this video now. And also my North Node is in Leo, which means that my lesson in this life is to learn to be in the spotlight and to show myself. So I thought maybe this might be the way to learn that. And yeah, I'm just gonna see how it feels and if I'm gonna continue. One last thing, you might have noticed that I switched languages. My videos used to be in German, which is my native language, and English is my third language. My second language is French, so I might make some mistakes or pronounce things weirdly or have a fluctuating accent. I'm sorry for that, but I just consume so much English content, and I also do my audio diary in English, so it just makes more sense. And I also can reach more people, so yeah. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one very soon. Bye!